Now, suppose you do not have Linux with you and you're probably on Windows or on a Mac. What you can do is you can visit this site, bellard.org and slash JS Linux, or just search for JS Linux and you'll be able to find that. I think the first link that you get back is the Linux one, and you can just go ahead and click on that and it will take you to this terminal. It will load the Linux and then you can start working on it. Right, I'll close this one, take a new one. Right, you see this. Now let me show you what is a copy command. How do you copy? I want to copy one file to another, right? So I see that there's a file named hello.c. This is the name of the file. I'll just write a copy cp, and I'll pass the first option that I pass is the first argument that I'll pass is the source file. So I'll say hello.c. There's one more thing I can tell you at this point of time. If you are on a bash shell, and or most of the shell is something, the program, okay, this program that is there on the screen. There are different flavors of this shell, different programs that are written, so they behave differently. Most commonly is the bash shell. The bash shell is used widely, so I'll talk about that. So if you are on a bash shell or a bash like shell, then if you just type the first letter or first few letters of the file name and press tab, it will pick up the file if it exists. Suppose it doesn't exist. For example, I don't have anything existing with F. I type F, it will not give me any options. So I'll just type HEI and then I press tab and I get the file name. So I'm now trying to work with the cp command. You have the you type cp and give the source file name and then give it a destination file name. So let me give my copy. Okay, now I'll go ahead and see if there's a file. Yeah, my copy is created. One question people from Windows background is, what about the extension, the file extension? Is it txt or c or something? Linux doesn't care about the extension. It's only some programs in Linux, or usually most programs in Windows care about it. So you can make it any file, give it any extension, but the file will still exist. Okay, but it will be helpful for you and for some programs uh, to identify the file just by the name. Now that I have done this, let me rename this. There is no rename command in like there's no rename or rn command here. What we do is we move the file from one name to another name .c. So mov is not there, the command is mv. Let me do an ls. Yeah, so earlier there was my copy. Now I have moved it to my copy.c. Earlier there was only my copy. I moved it to my copy.c. There is a command called rm. I would suggest not to use that. Instead, what you should always do is move that particular file that you don't need, move that file to some other folder. Say, put into your home folder, right? And default and leave it there. That's a read only. It wouldn't work. Let me see if it works. No, that's a read only. Anyway, on your system you will have access to it and you can move a file to some other location, because if you delete it, it's not recoverable in Linux from the command prompt. If you delete it, really deletes. Okay, well, so we have learned ls, we have seen cp, we have done mv. Now we have also done pwd. Pwd shows you the present working directory. So let us do cd. How do you change a directory? You change a directory by using a cd command, and then you should tell where should it go to. You can say, okay, fine, I want to go to /home. There you are. You see this, some shells will tell you where you are, right? So if you type pwd, you get the same thing, right? You can say just cd. Just saying cd will take you back to your home directory, the default directory for the user. For this user online in this site, is this the home directory. So no matter where you are, right, you can just type cd and you'll be back to the home directory. Okay, the next thing is, let's say, let me show you how to make a directory. Okay, You are here, if you have the permissions, just use this command mkdir and give it a name. Say, let me call it dir1, right? It makes a directory. Where did it make it? It makes in the current directory. Because I did not specify where to make it, it made it in the present directory. So if I do an ls, I should be able to see dir1. One thing, how do you identify whether it is a directory or a file? ls-hell has that option. If you see the first character here is D, then it is a directory. If you see an hyphen, then it is a file. Okay. If you see L, that means it's a link file. What is a link file? A link file is something like the shortcut that you do on Windows. So the file actually doesn't exist here, but this file, I mean the file named dos, it doesn't exist here. It's actually in /root/dos. Okay. But if you want to view that file or read that file, you can from here. You can access that file here. It's like a shortcut. Okay, now the next thing is let's make another directory, and this time I'll say that from my current directory. Dot stands for current directory, okay, and 2 dots means the parent directory. So the current directory is /var/root. Okay, so I'll say from the current directory you would find a directory named, did I make one? Oh no, I made dir1. Okay, you'll find a directory named dir1, and inside that I want you to make a directory dir2. It did. Okay, now how do I see that? If I do ls, I'll still see the current directory, right? What I can say is ls, and I'll say you need to tell me what is inside dir1. Then it says dir2. Let's go there. How do you go to that directory? Type dir cd dir1, and here you see your path is shown here, or you can also check pwd and the path is listed out. If you are in pwd, we have already used this make directory. Inside dir1 I wanted a dir2. So how do you make how do you verify it is there? Type ls or ls-l, the long format uct. Okay, in the next video we'll see talk about what are these permissions and what does these stand for. Thank you.